tier 3 a season to go. Now we've got 5 tiers which has been introduced and in place for this season. My name is ILT Indigo, and joined for me, hopefully for the rest of the season, is KXI, known as Kalen.
Welcome everybody. Yeah, it's going to be a good race here today, so looking forward to see everybody's pace for the first pre-season race.
Yeah, and the first race of the season last time, I think it was Krager who took the victory. I can't actually hear my audio for some reason. There we go, I just had to pause it, and back on the game we go then. So it's just a bit of a little bit of a glitch, but hopefully no more shenanigans after that one. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to see everybody's pace and how they do here tonight. And Craigo, who used to be teammate with Dragon on Speed, and I don't think Dragon on Speed is here tonight, whether he's up in another tier or not, I'm not quite sure. But Dragon on Speed and Craigo were formidable teammates last time out last season, so let's see how Craigo gets on the McLaren, because he's shown great pace now and then. And Kalen, you've raced in this tier before, so you exactly know how these drivers' pace going to be.
Yeah, well, Craigo, Dragon on Speed, both really clean, respectful drivers. I had a great battle here with Dragon on Speed in the last season, with his little wings keeping me behind, frustrating me very much. But yeah, Craigo himself, there's a few names here I recognise, of course, Jay Hartnell, Dat Roland, Leon, all familiar tier 3 drivers that I've raced with.
And you'll be a great insider, knowledgeable person to be here with me here in tier 4 then to let's see then how Craigo gets on with his lap time then as we approach uphill into turn number 1 then. Take a late apex into here, get the car slowed down as much as you can, back in the throttle immediately then, upshifting through the gears into turn 2, simple flat out right hander now as we come into the Maggot and Beckett's X session here. We can see they're flat out in 7th gear, slight lift off, back into 6th gear we go, playing with the throttle, and as you can see they're back into 5th gear we go, now into 3rd, double shifts into 3rd, or downshift it must be said. Now through turn number 9 we go then, as we come out of turn number 10, heading into turn number 11 we go then. Let's see how he takes this corner, brakes at the 100 meter board, into first he goes to get the extra rotation, upshift a second to try and reduce traction on the exit of the corners now, and the main possible overtaking place to be here. And as KXI experienced, you need to have a good amount of balance and right amount of downforce on the car, because as you saw last time out, some people do struggle around here. Yeah, you've experienced
the balance is so important around here. You really need to be able to take the flat out corners with a lot of speed, and as well, you know, not suffering too much down the straight. So important to get the overtakes done and stick here.
Exactly, you can't have too much downforce around here, because you'll have that lack of straight line speed, as some people did find out last season by Dragon of Speed, 2 of them, and one of them's here in the party with me.
Yeah, that was a frustrating race, but a good one, that has to be said.
And now we've got Craigo entering the final corner. Let's see what he has to throw down on the table here tonight. It's a 35.0 for Craigo as the benchmark to beat. Then let's see who's next across the line. We've got a Haas ready to cross the line next. I'm trying to find everybody on here. I'm not used to these graphics yet.
It's Verona Flash. He's 3/10 quicker.
And it's a 34.7, and so that's 3/10 clear of Craigo with P2 at the moment. So first man in the 34s then, as another McLaren is about to cross the line, is that Basil Fox, who's just gone quickest with a 33 then, so instantly smashes that time by almost a second. And Eisen in P2 there in the Ferrari with Leon cross the line just further behind, with Jay Hartnell in P4 with a 34.4 in that Red Bull then. So a 10 separating those two, as Fandango, McLaren last season, now he's up into the Alpine. He crossed the line to go P3. Palmer, who was very strong last season, well, at the end of last season, is up into P6. Can he continue his form and consistency? Has he brought this to this game? Has he managed to find the confidence he had in the last few races of last season and bring it here tonight at USA? Well, it's only pre-season, but obviously drivers want to know how their pace is beforehand, and let's see then if anybody could try and improve on their pace from last season, as I Am Marshall goes up into P9 in the Alfa Romeo with a 34.8, and there's the time set then. How difficult for you is this track, Kalen?
Yeah, this track is, I struggle here. It's there were track limits as well. It's really tough to kind of nail your lap with a lot of confidence, and you got to use all the track here as well, so getting as close as you can to the white line, not trying to go over it. And yeah, as King Panda sneaks in with a 33.6 as well, so that's a really good banker there.
Yeah, two guys in the 33s then with the 33.6 and the 33.7 then, so good lap times from them. And Battlehawk in the middle sector has done a 3.6 then, so I'm not quite sure with the split intermediates what lap time in the first and second sector is good, because I don't have a clear benchmark on that, unlike in real life where you have the three names on the bottom of the screen going for the first, second and third sector. You don't have that in the game, unfortunately. Imagine that in the game. It'd be very clear to see who's going quick in the first, the middle sector and the last sector. But we've got Battlehawk there making his way now towards the final corner. Let's see then if the purple middle sector matches his performance, and unfortunately for him, he is outside the top 10, just joining the 34.7 club with Verona Flash, Maze and Battlehawk. Maze currently occupying P10, just by a few hundreds there, separating those two in the Williams and the Red Bull then. So we've got a few drivers haven't set a lap time yet. One of them Sofian in the Aston Martin, nice to see him back, and the AlphaTauri Luzano Zara in P17 and F1 Dat Roland in P18 then. So three drivers yet to set a lap time. One of them of course is on an out lap, however I dare say not represented times by Chugs. Chugs has gone for a spin, I think. Yes, he has come out of turn number 9. He's facing backwards, and got to be very careful when we join the track because it's easy to get disqualified, isn't it, Kalen?
Yeah, you can sometimes get beached on these curbs here as well. I think it's not too bad to reset if you're beached on a curb, but you just have to make sure there's no cars around you.
And it looks like Chugs was going for a second flying lap, because as you can see there, he's set a 35.0, so I dare say not representative, and also he's quite low on the ERS as well, so I think he went for a second push lap. But obviously you don't want to go for more than one consecutive lap on the same set of soft compound tyres, unlike the wets and the intermediates where you can continue with them because they've got more tread on them and don't overheat as much as the softs do, as the softs are most manual, very easy to heat up as well with the less surface area. As Jay Hartnell then makes his way towards the final corner, then I think he's just about to start another flying lap by the looks of it, a 36.9 then, so he's just going around. We'll see this in tier 4 now, as it was in tier 3 last season, and multiple drivers then going for flying laps on the same set of soft compound tyres. What's your strategy going into races, Kalen? Do you do this exact same program, or do you put on a set of softs or wait and put on another set of softs?
Yeah, well, no, for CR especially, the grids are always so tight, so I tend to use all my tyres that I've got available in qualifying, because it's so important to start as far up the grid as you can, keep away from any mess in the midfield. But it's interesting to see with the three drivers that haven't set lap times yet. It's a long lap here, so are they potentially trying to save a set of tyres for the race, perhaps? That'd be interesting to see.
It's always a possibility. You know, safety cars are most common in any circuit we've seen, especially here in Tier 4, where a lot of chaos could happen, and Tier 1 as well, as it's proven to be in the past few races. However, I did notice a retirement on the last corner. I think Chugs may have sustained damage coming out of turn number 9, may have hit the wall. I didn't see any end plate loss there. Maybe he got a bit of yellow damage, but he went to the pit lane, I think, and he missed the pits, and I think he hit the wall on the outside barrier. So unfortunately there, Chugs missing the wall and has retired in the pit wall. So his qualifying is done and dusted then, and I don't think a 35.0 is going to be safe either, with the guys improving continuously around the circuit, especially with track evolution as well. For Verona Flash, however, purple in that first sector, as his teammate is currently sitting pretty in P1. The gap is separated by 9 tenths between P1 and Verona Flash in P10. Bazza, however, he's crashed at a turn number 10. He's crashed where Chugs spun, and unfortunately that's his qualifying done and dusted then. Caleb.
That's a tricky traction zone there for Bazza. Perhaps he's been caught out by that. You really have to feather the throttle going through those corners there. Last year's game, it was a nightmare. It's not too bad on this year's game, but yeah, it's still a tough one to take.
I know how it feels. I've been caught out by that corner plenty of times by myself. Not in this game though, because I've barely driven this track, so I need to do so because I like this track. Not in like Miami or Las Vegas. I think this is one of the best USA tracks we've had so far. Do you agree, Kalen?
Oh yeah. This has always been a track that's provided good racing. It's hard to break the DRS here as well. With a very long back straight, and obviously the DRS going up the hill as well for turn 1. So yeah, this is always a good track to race. I enjoy it here.
I enjoy it here too, and very challenging, very difficult as well. And Verona Flash has put his Haas into P3. A nice rhyme to go with it as well. Flash and Haas. He put his Haas into P3 with a 33.9 then, so he breaks into that 33. I think Crago's just got up a place in P8. Hello Nathan. Hello Panda. How you doing, mate? And Panda, I think you might want to be on the track rather than sit in the pit lane because you're not safe yet, mate. The gap is separated by a few hundreds in it, so I think it's time to focus on the track and not comment. Otherwise, your performance can get knocked down. But we've got Fandango in P5 then on a lap. Both Alpines, however, occupying the third row with a 34.1. So both Alpines in close contention with each other then. So that's very interesting with that rolling there in P6. A difficult season, that rolling, it must be said, last season, but hopefully can up his performance and find more time. And 4 tenths up, Fandango. Leon in the Mercedes has gone P2. I think Leon was in the Alpine.
Oh, look at that gap. Only 1 millisecond separates the top two now. That's a great lap from Leon.
And that is incredible. But if Fandango can improve in that last sector there, absolutely hook it and make no mistakes or invalidate, I dare say he could join P1 and P2. Got to keep it nice and clean, especially at the exit of turn number 22 as we head into the final corner. Eyes into the Ferrari, has gone quickest with a 33.5, a bit of a tank slapper for Fandango there as he puts his Alpine into P5. I don't think that tank slapper has cost him hugely, but definitely a few hundreds then, so he puts his Alpine into P5. And eyes in there in the Ferrari with a 33.5 then. What a blistering lap time that is from the Ferrari driver to be separated by a tenth between those two then. So King Panda is on his out lap, so we'll see then what lap time he could set. I think he's only done the one lap, it seems, spent majority of it in the pit lane, commented in the comments, but now he's out on the track then, so I don't want to see any more comments from him. As we make our way now, let's see how he takes this lap then. Is he going to improve? Let's see how he does it there. Going into turn number 1, breaking the black box, down through the gears he goes then into third, rotates the car very nicely, hitting the apex there, back on throttle with no traction issues whatsoever. Turn to number 2, very simple, very flat. Coming into maybe slightly missed the apex through there, but look at that, look at the speed he's carrying, the rhythm, the momentum, threading the needle through here, and he's 1/10 up in the first sector. May have got a bit wide out there, bit of hesitation going into turn number 9, but nevertheless gets on the throttle, keeps it nice in shape as well, within track limits, which is very crucial out here. Play with the steering a little bit there, probably he's on controller, you can tell, but drivers do that, especially myself as well. I do tend to flick left and right on the controller. And now we enter turn 11 then with DRS wide open on this straight then. Let's see what the top speed is, about 325 kilometers per hour we might reach. I did see some top speeds like that. Very close, 324 as we hit turn number 12 then. You can cut that corner, but he opts not to do so then as we make our way. He's 2 tenths up in his middle sector. Interestingly, that's not a purple middle sector, so I wonder what the best overall time is in that middle sector. Maybe somebody else has gone quicker as he takes a wide line through here, just feeding the throttle, carrying the speed and getting the traction and rotation as well. As we make our way now into the triple right hander we go. Flat out here, maybe not in the race because of high fuel, but coming into this penultimate corner, want to flick it in fifth gear here. Not really using all the exit as he possibly could, but let's see then. Is this lap time good enough to snap back pole, and it is! Wow, look at that! That's 100 quicker, well, 900 quicker than Eisen in P2 then. So the Haasman is back on pole just though, so his heart must be pounding then on that lap time because it's very close indeed, and he's the only one, or majority of them in the pits, and some of them on the out laps.
Yeah, it's a very good lap there from Panda. It's great to see the top 5 so close together. They've only just over 2 tenths separating the top 5 there, so it could be a great shootout for pole. But not too many drivers on track at the moment, so let's see who crosses the line last. That'll be important for their lap time with the track evolution here.
I think Panda has gone out very early in comparison to other people to get that track position, make sure there's no traffic, because majority of them are in the pit lane waiting for that final moment. Some of these drivers, by the way, will fuel their car for more than one lap, just in case they mess up their first attempt on their last lap and they can get another lap in. Depends if they have the time or not. That's what drivers like me usually do, because I know big bottles like me usually put more than a few laps in the car to try and get 2 laps out of it, just in case I validated the first one. So that's why some people have gone out early, just in case that first lap ruined by a validation or mistake, probably due to pressure, but they've always got that second lap in the bag to try and capitalise on the mistakes and go for it once again then. So we've got Roland on a lap time there, we've got a Red Bull just further up. I think that is Battle Hawk in the Red Bull then in 16th place, so looks like Battle Hawk there needs to get a good lap time on the board just to get in the top 10 to boost his confidence, and let's see if he can do that. But on board with that Roland then in the Alpine, and he's 1/10, oh no, took too much curb. Kalen, and unfortunately is validated.
Yep, it's another victim for track limits here. Such a tough lap to get right here, and there's well, he's looking like he's keeping out of the way now for the Haas behind him, so as not to distract him on his hot lap. But that could be his session over with.
I've seen quite a few validations going on. Battle Hawk's another one as well. The benefits of invalidating the first sector are you can cool the tyres down, get recharged energy as well, not taking too much life out of the tyres because it's the first sector, so that's the benefits. Obviously it's not a benefit, but rather doing the first sector rather than the middle and the last sector, because if you do in the last sector you're screwed basically because you have no ERS to carry out with you throughout the rest of the lap. We're on board with Mays then in the final corner. He goes, and let's see what lap time he can set in the Williams, but he made a mistake, big mistake, and he hits the wall and he's out of the session then. So ended in spectacular fashion, and he's crashed out of the session then, so we won't be seeing him. Maybe let's see if he stays in P15. We've still got Battle Hawk yet to set a lap time, and Jack as well. I haven't mentioned him in the Aston Martin. Welcome Jack, hope you're doing well in tier 4. I think it's your first appearance, and he's 5/10 up, so that's a good sign. Hopefully he can keep it up. If he's 5/10 up, might get himself inside the top 10 depending if he can find more time in this middle sector. Craigo however found 7/10, well 1/10 down actually, because the timing screen is just updated. We're reaching the near end of qualifying then, so let's see who's out there. We've got Mercedes out there, Leon on the track, 400s down in that middle sector then, in the first sector, sorry, and let's see, a bit of oversteer in that exit turn 12, 1/10 up in the middle sector then, and you can see the back of the car just sliding, and you can see they're pushing very hard as he tries to get the lap in then. So the back of the car a bit tail happy there for Leon's liking. Maybe we like that setup or not, maybe the setup itself, I'm not quite sure, but it looks like he's still continuing then on his way towards that penultimate corner. Flick it in through 5th gear here, back of the throttle immediately. Not many drivers taking that curve, being safe with track limits here, as they know it's an easy place to get caught up. But Leon then in that final corner, bit of a mistake through there, and he did lose time unfortunately for him, so he won't be taking pole for the time being.
Yeah, a couple of throttle happy moments there for Leon might have ruined his lap slightly, but otherwise P3 at the moment is still a very good performance from him. And
just trying to find out who's closest to line. That roll is invalidated, I think, once again there. So here's qualifying. It is done and dusted. On board was Lanazon Orazera in the AlphaTauri there. He's currently a few hundreds up. He was 2/10 up in the first sector, it said, and he's found a few hundreds there, so that's not good for him. Lost time somewhere in that middle sector then, so can he gain it back up in this last sector, the most crucial part of them all? We've got a Haas and a Alpine making their way to the line. I think that's Dat Ronan, so he won't be going quicker as he validates his lap time. I am Marshall, by the way, done 3 laps on his set of softs. So is Jay Hartnell in the P13. So hopefully they've got a brand new set of tyres attached to their car. Lozano Serra comes towards the line, and let's see what he can do. Oh, it's P3 for him. He's found 3/10 level last sector. Wow, that's a huge improvement for him. So let's see then who else could beat that. Fandango 1/10 up in the middle sector. He goes. Let's see what he does. Jay Hartnell limping to P6 with a brand new set of softs. I am Marshall P8. Fandango takes pole with a 33.5. What a lap time there for Fandango to take pole here in USA. Can anybody stop him? No. Still got some more drivers out there. Not Eisen because he's invalidated. So I think that's it. Unless Battle Hawk, no, he's in the pit lane. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Fandango's on pole.
That is it. That's a great qualifying session, a great lap there at the end from Fandango. And the top 3 drivers, you know, all separated with half a tenth, with a 33.5. It's a great performance from those guys.
I think Fandango took pole. I think, was it the Belgian Grand Prix? I think you remember because you were in the race yourself. So I don't quite remember what. I remember he was leading a race and he spun out a few times, but hopefully he won't have that problem this season. Maybe race pace was his biggest issue last season, or consistency, because I noticed in qualifying that was his strong suit, but in the race it just fell apart. Maybe his car was more of a qualifying setup than the actual race setup itself, but hopefully he can try and adjust that and balance it out between the two, and hopefully he can have a good season because he's definitely quick, Fandango. He's proved it plenty of times.
Yeah, he is. I think his qualifying pace is really come on leaps and bounds when I first seen him racing in CRL, and yeah, let's hope for his race pace to be the same.
Looks like Palmer's in the game chat then, so probably looking for somebody to get a party with. But Fandango's currently on pole then with Panda. Look at the times between those three there. Eisen in P3 with Lozano Serra in P4 in the AlphaTauri. Leon in P5. Baza P6 ahead of Jay Hartnell. Ian Marshall, Palmer, Verona Flash, Jack Rowland, Craigo, Sophian, Ross, Mays, Battlehawk, Jack, and Chugs. Unfortunately for him, will start last place. As qualifying comes to an end then, and we're about to head off into the race then. You looking forward to this race, Caelan?
Oh yeah, very much so. It was a great circuit as well to have for a pre-season race. Looking for a lot of overtakes down into the hairpin off the back straight, and hopefully drivers can keep it clean into up the hill into turn 1. And yeah, let's see how this develops. Who's your money on?
Well, I don't bet. I've never betted in my life, but I don't actually know, to be honest. I want to say, well, Panda, I haven't seen much of him last season. I think he came in quite late, didn't he? Sometime. I remember seeing his name pop up a few times, so I haven't seen his race pace. But if Fandango's got the consistency and pace, then I see him winning this Grand Prix. He just needs a clean race because I know maybe we get on a bit too much and the car just steps on him and he loses his confidence. Confidence completely goes, as I've noticed. When he spins once, he tends to do it more, so hopefully he can keep it under control and try and get this dub. But obviously it's pre-season, so not a lot of pressure, but once the season starts, that's when we'll see the pressure commence on all these drivers. Yeah,
there's opportunity now to kind of iron out the mistakes that you might make and just see where your pace is at in relative to the field. Interestingly, you can see here Craigo and Leon looks like they've opted for the hard tyre, only 2 on the field, so hopefully no early safety cars to ruin their races. But yeah, it's going to be really about who can break the DRS from the top guys. If Fandango's leading after the first couple of laps and he's outside of 1 second, I feel like he can have this.
Yeah, crucially, Leon in P5 going for a longer stint on those durable tyres. However, Palmer, Sophia, Mays and Battlehawk, I'm not surprised to see the guys further behind on the soft compound tyres. Just want to make up a few positions, getting the extra grip off the start with those malleable soft tyres. Palmer's left the session, so hopefully he can rejoin ASAP. Leon, however, it's very crucial for him for this out lap to warm up these tyres as much as he can before the start of the Grand Prix, because these medium runners, I dare say, might jump him, especially going down into turn number 1 in a heavy braking zone with heavy traction as well. So it's very crucial for him to warm up his tyres and better get the best grip coming out of turn number 1. But looks like there's already a bit of a field spread there between 1st and 18th there, but I think Fandango might slow down just a bit then, so he's not on the grid as long as he would have wanted to be. But yeah, all 3 tyres being used in this race, and all soft, medium and hard, which is going to be the better strategy. One stop is the norm around here. I think in last 2021 the 2 stop was better, because I remember the soft compound tyres overheating very quickly. I don't think the hards were that great around Texas a few years ago, Kota, but I think it was a 2-stop strategy, and whoever pitted, I think it was lap 16, 17 where people went in the pit lane to do a 2-stop, and they gained a lot of time. It depends if you can make your tyres last, but obviously we've got all 3 tyres being used, and the 1-stop is preferred around here. Mediums to hards or hards to mediums is the norm, and the softs will die out very quickly in this race as well. So we'll see how it all unfolds towards the end, but we're just waiting to start this race. And Caelan, any last words before we get racing?
Yeah, well, you know, as you say about the tyres, the tyre pressures are also important around here. You know, you can run them low, but they're going to burn out very quickly if you're running tyre pressures low here. So it's going to really depends on the setup of the car, with the how you handle the tyres on here. But as they all begin to line up on the grid.
Second place has tends to get a better start with the inside line going down into turn 1. Ast, Rosberg and Hamilton, Vettel on Bottas and Verstappen on Hamilton back in 2021 then. So let's see if Panda could do the same thing and try and get Fandango. Will Fandango go to the right immediately? His right, his left, or whatever it is. And the lights are out then. Let's see who gets a better start. I think the top two are quite even off the start. It's about the second phase. And Panda then, he has the inside line going into turn 1, but you can see Fandango much later on the brakes there, swoops into turn 1, but could he go a bit deep? Yes he does, but maintains first place then. A few jockey for position with the Williams and Red Bull and Aston Martin there, the two soft runners as well. Sophia up into P6 by the way, what a start from him. Oh, Jay Hardo's been spun! Tagged the back of the rear of Sophia's Aston Martin there, and unfortunately he has gone for a spin, and that's his race there unfortunately being ruined, and after first lap contact there in the fast sector of sector 1 then. So Sophia up into P6 benefiting from the soft compound tyres, and Palmer is all over the back of him, a few jumping because of the internet connection issues here as Palmer up the inside then, but he goes deep on the brakes. I think he might maintain P6 then with Sophia tucked in the background. As you can see, Aston Martin versus McLaren, that's Jack and Craigo getting a bit too close for comfort there as I saw in the exit, but I think those two made contact. And further behind we can see a Red Bull versus a Mercedes. As you can see, Sophia down the inside of Harry Palmer, almost collected each other in the process, but Sophia then makes that move. He's back up into P6 and Harry Palmer there in P7. Jack in the Aston Martin has moved up into P12 ahead of Craig, who's going to go back down the inside, and hopefully Jack saw him coming because he looked like he closed the door and opened it again as he realised a driver was slipping through down the inside there. So looks like a clean start other than Jay Hart now down at P18, but hopefully he can oh no, it's all gone downhill, and that penultimate corner where Battlehawk did not respond to the corner speed Craigo was taking on those hard compound tyres. Difference in tyres of course, so obviously one's going to carry more speed than the other, and Battlehawk down the soft compound tyres was a bit too optimistic as you see a battle for P3 going on then with Eisen and Lozano in P4 then. Lozano was up into P3 momentarily, but I think Eisen got him back then in P3 as we watched that battle unfold between Craigo and Battlehawk in P15.
Yeah, so Harry Palmer and Sophia and they're both on the soft tyres, so they're having quite an intense battle, but I feel like they need to work together here and start closing their gap on the guys on the medium tyres. Those slower, more durable tyres need to start picking them off. That's only going to affect their races if they're fighting so hard with each other. But good to see so far, a couple of incidents, but at least lap 1, no retirements.
Exactly, and yeah, I agree with you what you said on those soft compound tyres there. Palmer and Sophia can't afford to fight. I think Harry Palmer did drop Sophia, and Sophia's down into P7 actually, so we didn't see how that unfold between those two. I think Palmer might have got him into turn number 1, and Sophia then drop him back in the clutches of Leon on the hard compound tyre. So Leon, as you expect, loses positions towards the mediums and soft runners, down into P8, so he hasn't lost a huge amount, but now he has to play the waiting game before his tyres start to come into play, and Palmer can't afford to play the waiting game because he's on the soft compound tyres. Bazza has made a mistake in the penultimate corner. Will Harry Palmer pounce? No, he doesn't. I'm surprised he didn't go for that actually, but Bazza actually went wide, coming to the final corner, gives Palmer a clear opportunity to make an overtake. Battlehawk is retired in the penultimate corner, and the safety cars came out, mate.
Yeah, safety car's out, so you can see what's happened there. He's on the left-hand side of the track, so he's obviously taking too much curb on the exit at turn 19, and into the wall he goes. So that's unfortunate for the Red Bull driver there. There's only one person in the pit so far, that's Jay Hartnell. No wing change, so it's a strategy call.
I don't think Jay Hartnell suffered any damage because it was rear right to left front tyre which happened. So I think Jay Hartnell there just benefited from that safety car, using another set of tyres, getting rid of those tyres he had on at the start, and just trying to make his way through back the field, because that's just an unfortunate event that happened down the sector 1 there. Just it's so easy just to get tagged in that chaos there. The Battlehawk unfortunately becomes our first DNF, and he crashed the penultimate corner where Danny Kvyat crashed back in 2015 in those mixed conditions, and when both Red Bulls led the race, and Fiat unfortunately crashed out of it, and another Red Bull's dropped out of it again. So Battlehawk there suffering from that, and he's the first one out. Both Red Bulls there unfortunately down to P17 and 18. So with the one sole remaining Red Bull of Jay Hartnell hopefully he can claw his way back on a brand new set of tyres, and he was quite far behind due to that spin, so he can regroup, catch the back of the pack and try and make amends from there in P17.
Yeah, so Jay Hartnell's opted for the medium tyre there, so he will have to stop again. Unless he goes back into the pits now for the hards, that's a possibility as well. But with the safety car so early in the race, it doesn't quite affect it too badly. With Leon and Craig on the hard tyres as well, that's not going to screw the strategy too much. But I'm not expecting too many drivers to pit within the train so far.
Yeah, I expect Mays and Palmer and Bazza Fox and Sofian's actually going into the pit lane, it seems, on the soft compound tyre, so I think he shouldn't. No, the safety car just came out, didn't it? So it's the pit lane again, goes Sofian, and let's see what tyres. Maybe get rid of the soft compound tyres early phase in this race, just get rid of them and put on a brand new set of mediums, because he might have 2 sets of mediums in his disposal to use as well, because he might have gone for the balanced strategy of soft, medium, medium then. So get rid of those soft compound tyres, put on a set of meds, then later on put another set of meds. So that's the strategy for the race. Keep an eye on him in P14. Verona Flash has got us the pit lane on a brand new set of hard compound tyres, followed by Mays as well in P16 there, so interesting strategies going on by them. And where did they start? Verona Flash started in P10, so he's down into P15. Palmer's gained 4 places. Basil Fox stayed where he started. Ross up into P8 now, but gained 6 places at the start. Jack and Chugs gained 6 places as well, and Ian Marshall's lost 2. Jay Hartnell's lost the most, obviously, because of that spin. Started P7, and hopefully he can claw his way back through there then. But yeah, when the safety car came out, Palmer and Basil Fox were side by side, and when the safety car just got activated, I dare say Palmer was ahead of Basil Fox, because they were going full speed still when the safety car came out, just seeing who would get ahead of that battle. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I was on board with Palmer, and it looked like he had just edged in front before the 4 course yellows came out. So, yeah, fair game for that position, I think.
And safety car then will stay out for another lap at least, or may go in now, because Jay Hartnell, yeah, safety car has came in. So that's where that stays out 2 laps minimum. Depends if the last place is caught up to the back of the field. 3 laps maximum gives that driver another chance to claw up his way through the field then. So Jay Hartnell has caught up, and he's surrounded by Harvaners such as Mays, Verona Flash and Craig. Might be, I think it's a bit of a stretch. Goes to the end of the hard compound tyres right now. You never know, full of surprises in this game. I did see somebody in a set of soft compound tyres do 18 laps in Bahrain, which I thought was impossible, so anything is possible around here in USA. Maybe more chance of a safety car as well, extending that life on tyres. Palmer, the only man on the soft compound tyres, maybe not pitted, given all that track position he's had, and he was putting pressure on the guys ahead as well, so maybe not get rid of those tyres just yet, because he knows he'll force the back of the field and doesn't want to lose that track position. Both Williams are on the same set of tyres, but one of them has changed strategies. Here we go then. The safety car restart is underway. Will Palmer get a good race safety car restart? Being on those soft compound tyres, because they'll heat up quicker than the mediums and the hards. You can see him right behind the AlphaTauri as we go into turn 1 we go. Let's see if he gets Lozano Zera into turn 1 we go. No, he does not. Lozano Zera gets a better exit, better traction than Harry Palmer. Look at Harry Palmer's corner in there. Seems to have better downforce on that Williams in comparison to Lozano Zera. You never know if the AlphaTauri has his tyres warmed up or not. Maybe that's why he's struggling through these corners in the first sector. We saw Lozano Zera versus Eisen for P3. Palmer taking different lines there, trying to get a better exit than the AlphaTauri. Now he's very close to the back of the AlphaTauri. Will he try and get him going on the straight, or will it be down at turn number 11? He's very optimistic as Harry Palmer. Lozano Zera is defended to the inside line. Will Palmer get a better exit right on the outside? He's sticking there. That's his line now on the outside. And now they're going side by side on this straight then, both using the ERS to try and stay ahead and get ahead of each other. Looks like Lozano Zera, each straight line speed is better than Harry Palmer's, able to stay ahead for the time being, as Palmer then going into turn number 12 on the outside once again. Does he stay there? Yes, he does. Lozano Zera, good respect and rating from him, giving Harry Palmer enough room there. And now we're going side by side then in this middle set we go. But the battle for the lead continues. Panda has got Fandango into turn number 15 we go. Fandango maintains his line and stays in P1 and ahead of Kung Fu Panda in P2. And Palmer and Lozano Zera still going side by side, by the way, but I think the battle will end in its penultimate corner we go. Lozano Zera is losing a lot of time now towards Eisen. That was his main battle for the evening, but now he's got Harry Palmer all over the back of him. This is good defending from Lozano Zero there. Puts up a mighty defence against Harry Palmer and the soft compound tyres, then giving enough room and respect. Good job there from Lozano Zero.
Yeah, this is great, respectful driving from both there. Harry Palmer's on that softer compound, really making use of those tyres, but he's going to need to gain some positions there if he's going to want to push himself into the top 3. As we see Jack here, he's into the pit lane. Not sure what happened to him there, but perhaps he's had an incident. Yeah, he's missing quite a chunk of the left-hand side of the pit lane.
We've got a spinner, and I saw somebody else got the track. What's gone off there? Bazza's gone off the track, he's spun in the wall, and got Mercedes as well. I think he's gone for a spin. They both had separate incidents. They didn't make contact because they were separate from each other. But unfortunately, Bazza has gone for a spin. He's lost his wing, and Chugs there had a moment by himself. It looks like he had a snapper oversteer and went off the track. He didn't spin, did Chugs, but Bazza did. So unfortunately there, I think another safety car has been triggered then, as Bazza Fox has lost his front wing. Hopefully it's a safety car for Bazza's sake. Is it? No, it's a VSC, as I saw in the black box on the right hand side on the straight. So unfortunately for there, Bazza will not get the benefit of a safety car, as the virtual safety cars came out. Maybe if he stays out long enough, which I don't think it will do because we're in the middle sector, and Bazza there, unfortunately, we're not able to get that chance to catch the pack with a full safety car, as you can't do with a virtual safety car. Depends how long it stays out there for. So same for Jack as well down at P17. Whatever happened to him, he's quite far behind as well. So he looks like he'll stay there with the virtual safety cars. Everybody's on the same, carrying the same speed and applying to their delta.
Yeah, and as you say that, Jack gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. So he's been caught up by the delta there. It's unfortunate for him. He'll have to serve that in the next 3 laps.
And for the first time in this race, we'll have DRS then, as a safety car did come out early doors in this race, as we head up towards turn number 1. Oh, Jack has retired. Please don't forget to say, oh, it's a safety car again. It's only lap 7. 2 safety cars and 1 virtual, Kalen.
Yeah, it's been a safety car happy race at the beginning. Not sure what happened to Jack there. He seems to be on his own. It's unfortunate for him. But yeah, a chance now for some drivers to get off their tyres. I'd probably expect Harry Palmer to pit now on his soft tyres after doing 6 laps. But,
Ross is...
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Ross is not the first one to pick up a penalty under a safety car. Remember what happens to the other Mercedes last game? Last game it was as well. George Hargreaves in Tier 3 picked up a drive-through penalty under a safety car, and Leon in the Mercedes has picked up a penalty for corner cutting under a safety car. That is quite confusing there, to pick up a penalty under a safety car, Leon.
Yeah, not ideal for him, absolutely. But yeah, he's there as the leader of the hard tyres, so let's see how he goes for this race. I think Leon could be onto the podium with those hard tyres. He's got a good strategy there.
I think it's wise for Harry Palmer now to get off those soft compound tyres, because we're on lap 7. That's when it's usually the crossover time to get off those soft compound tyres and put on a mediums or hards then, because the soft compound tyres will definitely come to the end of their peak performance. Bearing in mind that we've had 2 safety cars in the virtual, so his tyres shouldn't be too bad, but I think it is time now to get rid of those soft compound tyres and change your strategy up now with the benefits of the safety car. Make the soft compound tyres in any race, maybe apart from Saudi Arabia, I'm not quite sure in this game, because I've seen a few soft tyres being used. And we've got ends the pits. Goes a few cars. That's Panda. Now this is going to be very interesting, because Fandango has opted to stay out there. So let's see what tyres Panda goes on to. And we've got majority, well, some of the drivers now are in the pit lane. Panda will go on to a brand new set of hards then, so he'll take these tyres towards the end. Which strategy could be better? Is it going to be pit now, go to the hards, go later, or will it be Fandango strategy? Do you extend those medium compound tyres and pit for the hards later and try and catch up? We'll see then which strategy is better. It depends how many safety cars do come out, of course. And Posh Evans here, Tier 1 driver, has decided to join the race, or join the action.
Yeah, well, yeah, Fandango opting to stay out. That's an interesting decision he's made there. It's definitely going to be a push to get himself some track position and get himself so when he does pit that he's not too far in the midfield, but he's going to have the fresher tyres towards the end of the race, so that's good for him. Let's see how that works.
It's worked wonders for people like Palmer, who started the soft compound tyres, able to go on the hards, didn't lose too much time either with other people in the pit lane. and lost a bit of track position, but only a few positions because he did start the softs, and others have decided to stay out there then. So Sofian, I think he pitted on the first safety car because his tyres are 4 laps old, so he's up there with P4 as he's able to jump the rest of the guys then, so he's looking good. He'll go for another pit stop. He started on the softs. I think he started on the softs. He's one of those drivers who did so. I'm not quite sure. I'll have a look right now. Yeah, he did. Sofian starts on the softs, and under the first safety car, we're put on a brand new set of mediums, and they'll pit very shortly. Well, I say shortly, in a few laps time to get rid of those mediums. I'll put on a brand new set of mediums to take towards the end then. So we've got loads of different strategies going on the field here. Top 2 haven't pitted. They're doing mediums to hards, but extending their stint on the mediums to try and get a better grip at the end of the race. We've got Leon there, started on the hards. Obviously, he's taking those tyres a long way with the malleable tyres. However, Leon's got rid of his penalty. How has he done that in P3? He definitely picked up a penalty, didn't he?
Not too sure. I didn't see him go. Well, he definitely hasn't pitted, so unless you're seeing a glitch.
Oh, it was Ross. It was Ross, sorry.
Ross, right.
Yeah, Ross and Leon were teammates back in Alpine last season. I got confused between the two. Yeah, it was so Leon then on the hard compound tyres, and we've got another driver in the pit lane, Mays. And Mays should have pitted a lap ago when the whole field wasn't bunched up. So a late decision there for Mays to go in the pit lane. Or what tyres he's going to go on to. Thing is though, if he goes onto a set of mediums, he can't take them to the end surely. So should he stay on the hard to extend that and go to the mediums later? And he's down into P15 now.
Yeah, I think possibly staying on the hards could have been a good decision. Those mediums, I think, will go to the end, but they're going to be severely damaged towards the end of the race. So he's going to, he's going to have to get through the grid and get through the field, and of course, as those tyres wear, try to keep it on the road.
Yeah, loads of strategy as well. I haven't mentioned Craigo much in this race either. He started down in P12 and he's up as a P5, then also started on the hard compound tyres. Lost a few positions at the start of Craigo due to the hards, but he's up there. I think he spun earlier as well because I think one of the guys at the back of him, because one was on the, I think it was Sophia, no, I can't remember who it was. They were on the soft compound tyres and then they hit Craigo because he was on the hard compound tyres. They were carrying different speed in the corner due to the tyres. Craigo spun, but he's up there with P5 now, so it has helped him gained a few positions, but he's got a few guys behind him on a brand new set of tyres. Panda, however, will be looking to clear these guys ahead of him to try and get close to Fandango. That's his target, and the best thing about it is his teammate's up there with P6, so he might get out of the way for his team. Or I say that it's only a pre-season race, isn't it? So don't have to take it too seriously. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Let's see what happens to those guys. I think they're both going to want to kind of establish who could be 1 and 2 drivers for the season. Let's see. But yeah, Panda there with fresh medium tyres, only in P7, so he's not got too much work to do to get back up to Fandango with 4 drivers yet to pit as well.
There we go, then the safety car comes in once again on lap 9 out of 28. We've had 2 safety cars and 1 virtual. But let's see then what else happens, because we've got multiple strategies going on here in the field then, so we could get chaotic in this second part of the race, as Fandango then will control the safety car once again then and allow the safety car to pull in, and hopefully for him he gets a decent restart with Eisen in second place as well in P2. Haven't seen much of those two fights in Eisen and Fandango yet. Eisen been in P3 defending from Lozano Serra, who's pitted on a brand new set of medium compound tyres, and off we go racing again then. So does he get a good restart of the safety car? Yes, he does then. So he pulls a decent margin over P2 to not get overtaken. However, we've got both Hasses there very close together, Verona Flash and Panda. What does Panda do? Will not go down the inside of Verona Flash for the time being then, so do not swap positions, but will Panda get a decent exit and try and out-drag his teammate? Doesn't do so on that occasion. Panda has to stay behind his teammate for a little bit longer. No team orders here at Haas so far, so I think it's just pure pace and pure performance here. But look at that, you can see Craigo struggling just a bit there on the hard compound tyres he started on, bearing in mind that those hards have gone for a spin too, so maybe lost a bit of life as well in those tyres, as Verona Flash is all over the back of him in the Haas, and followed by his teammate and Lozano Serra, who's on the hard medium compound tyres then. And he doesn't want to hang around because the guys ahead of him are on the hards though. So it's crucial there as Eisen has overtaken Fandango for the lead then. He moves himself up into P1, but Fandango there still in close proximity. Sofian has got past Leon into turn number 13 we go. Fandango's got past, well, re-overtaken Isa for the lead, as you can see the back of the Ferrari stepping out of him. Here we go, then Craigo versus Ferrari Flash. And he moves himself up, or does he? Because he goes wide. No, that's a glitch, sorry. So he's teleported all over the place. I don't know exactly where he is, because he's jumping from back to front there. Panda's on the inside too.
That was sneaky. That's a great move there from Panda. Yeah, a little bit of lagging going on there. Not sure if it's lagging or glitching, but it did appear like Flash was a little bit all over the road. And yeah, Craigo's falling now. Lozad as well on those medium tyres around the outside it. Turn 19. Yeah, Craigo's losing a few here as well. Palmer up the inside into the final corner. So let's get some yellows now as well.
And
Ross at the back.
Oh, unfortunately for Ross then, man. So Chugs goes down the hits. Oh, he hits the RP and he smashes in the back of him. And he loses that play too. Just a bit too late on the brakes there, as he was all the way to the inside. And he found himself a nice piece there of that Rowan, I think it was, who hit the back of. But did you notice on the lap previous that Sofian was very close to Fandango on those medium compound tyres? Slightly fresher tyres there for Sofian on Fandango and Eisen.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, you can see that there. He's really closed the gap. But looking at Fandango with straight line speed, he looks like he possibly is using lower wings than the guys around him. But yeah, still within the 1 second window for Eisen and P1. Is it going to develop into a 3-horse race perhaps? But Leon as well on the hard tyres. Those are going to start dropping soon. He'll be in the pit soon as well. But yeah, it's a good race so far.
And Luzana Zera has crucially got rid of one Haas as Fandango goes down into P3, Sofian up into P2, then on those medium compound tyres which are slightly fresher as he pitted under the first safety car to get rid of those softs. Fandango is struggling just a bit here on those medium compound tyres, so it looks like he's understeering quite a lot, as you can see. In the triple right hander, we've got Leon versus King Panda there. Into the penultimate corner we go. There you can see Lozada Zera looking very interested as well. He wants to get past the Haas because he knows he's on the medium compound tyres. Might have to stop again. DRS is enabled in this race then as Panda pulls to the left hand side to try and overtake Leon going into turn 1. Lozada Zera wants to follow through very quickly as well because Leon's on all the tyres then, so we can't afford to be stuck behind, especially in the first sector there where Leon might lose a lot of performance. As you can see there, Fandango is really struggling here. You can see he used a lot of steering input, so did he break his front wing there? Because we did see Sofian and Eisen very close to each other. All three of them are very close on that straight there. Sofian, look at the grip he has on those medium compound tyres, taking different lines confidently as well on those fresher mediums. And now King Panda is all over the back of Chugs is retired in the pit lane, unfortunately for him. I was sad to see him go. But now, does Fandango wish he pitted under the safety car because he's losing quite a lot of ground. Down the inside goes Lozada Zera, or Palmer on Lozada Zera then, as he goes side by side. Coming out of turn number 12 now, Lozada Zera with a slightly better straight line speed, or much better straight line speed, it must be said. However, Sofian is up into P1.
Wow, Lozada with a straight line speed there. He's made 2 positions in 2 corners as well with the overtake there on Leon in his hard tyres, so that's impressive. He's definitely using low wings.
Mate, there's a lot of battles on here. It's very hard to keep up with all these battles. As you can see, Panda down the inside of Fandango, but Fandango has the outside line. Panda was in a cute angle there, so we couldn't quite get the speed he wanted. As Leon then, under massive pressure from Palmer. As you can see there, Palmer switches to the outside line, converts to the inside, but can't make that overtake happen. Ferrari Flash is defending from that roll, and Ferrari Flash is struggling so slightly. As you can see, there are a lot of drivers struggling as Palmer gets a 3-second time penalty by cutting the last corner, which you don't really do, which is not really, which is quite hard to do so because you don't really take that last corner. You don't want to because you lose the back end of the car if you cut the corner through the last corner there. As that Roland has overtaken, who is it? It is Verona Flash who's lost 2 positions there. Palmer versus Leon going in this first set. So who's going to yield in this one? Unfortunately for him, it's Leon who's going to have to yield on that occasion. King Panda is all over the back of Fandango. There's loads of battles, Kalen. I don't know who to watch or where to watch. Yeah,
this is a crazy restart after the safety car. They bunch of field up and they're still there. They're still looking like it. All with a big DRS train as well. As Harry Palmer with that 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That's not going to be ideal towards the end of the race if it stays like this. He's really going to be looking for some gaps on the track to hopefully pull away into.
As Sofian has overtaken the Ferrari of Isaac for the lead of this race on those medium compound tyres. We've got the Haas now pressurised. We've got Lozano Zero back up into P4. That he was under pressure by Harry Palmer momentarily. Now I think Fandango has been hit the back of. Panda has overtaken Lozano Zero. There he goes then. Lozano Zero has lost the place. He was trying to gain one. They lost one immediately on the process. But down the inside, then he goes. Oh, that was so tight there. Goodness me. Palmer back around the outside. Here we go.
Wow, a lot of battling going on here with the top 5, top 6. Yeah, I think Fandango is definitely tagged there by Lozano, I think it was. That would explain his position losses. But yeah, a big DRS train up front. It's good to see.
And this is all thanks to with the multiple strategies going on in the field there. That's why they're all passing very closely. Panda is going side by side with Fandango, then Fandango unfortunately demoted into P4. Lozano Zero is still holding up Harry Palmer. They're back together once again, Lozano Zero and Palmer. It looks like every time Lozano Zero goes forwards, he ends up going backwards again, like 2 steps forwards, or 1 step forward and 2 steps behind. He needs to go forwards to Lozano Zero. He did overtake Fandango momentarily, but he just finds himself further behind instead of in front. So Lozano Zero then needs to plan his overtakes because he keeps falling backwards, especially on those medium compound tyres as well, as he's fighting with the hard runners. As we can see the McLaren in the background there. Is that Baza going down the inside? Yes, it is. On Leon. Leon's constantly losing positions there, unfortunately for him, as he's dropped down into P9 now. Has Leon, but he might get it back with the benefit of DRS though. I just want to see the battles further up as Eisen there puts in pressure on Sofian once again, so he's managed to stay in the DRS range. Fandango under pressure from Lozano Zero once again then, and Lozano Zero finally gets the overtake done as he needed to. Now he can put pressure on Panda ahead, his main rival as well during this race. Palmer gets a better exit than Fandango. Fandango is really struggling now on these medium compound tyres. He's falling backwards, and Palmer then gets squeezed on the curb there, as you can see, with that rolling right behind too. And Palmer there able to stay very close proximity of Fandango there with the help of those fresher medium compound tyres, hard tyres against older mediums. Fandango wants to go in the pit lane, and Harry Palmer didn't recognise that as he almost wiped him out in the process, but thankfully they both get away cleanly.
Yeah, those tyres couldn't be feeling nice for Fandango, and he's also clipping at the end of that straight as well with his low ERS levels, so yeah, he was a little bit of a sitting duck towards the end of that lap. So let's see what we can do with the fresh tyres as it gets onto the hard compounds and that's towards the end of the race.
Yeah, he was really struggling with understeer. I'm not quite sure if it sustained any damage because all 3 of them were quite close to each other. However, this is a good performance from Eisen being on those older medium compound tyres, and they're past their best now, those medium compound tyres. The oldest tyres in the field now are on Eisen's car, and he's able to stick in the DRS range of Sofian with the power of the DRS, but Panda's all over the back of him. I don't know which strategy he's going to come out on best. Maybe the strategy Panda's on, able to take those hards towards the end. What can Fandango do in P13 on a brand new set of hard compound tyres, chasing this lot down? He'd be hoping these guys will continue this battle and slow each other down so Fandango can catch up on his hards. Here we go, then Eisen versus Sofian. Into turn number 13 we go. Let's see how it unfolds. Eisen goes a bit deep. Sofian gets better traction. Fandango switches, and that's Panda, sorry, who switches to the inside line but pops out of it. Lozano Zero is looking interested in the background as well, losing traction momentarily on the exit there. And now here we go then, into this left-hander we go, where it's still Sofian leading this race ahead of Eisen. Sofian and Eisen yet to pit as Jay Hartnell and Verona Flash are having a battle for P9. Jay Hartnell wins out of that one ahead of Verona Flash, who's lost another place as Palmer spun and he's out of the race.
Yeah, that's a big one. Looks like he loses the rear end there. Unfortunate for Harry Palmer, and that brings out, what was that, the 3rd full safety car of the race?
Oh no, oh no. The safety car has, unfortunately for Eisen, has came out the worst possible scenario because it happened at the final corner and the safety cars came out where Eisen doesn't want it to be. He is screwed big time because the safety car is right there. He can't go for another lap and pit like you usually do. Oh, that's a shame for Eisen there. Not his fault whatsoever as the safety car came out at the wrong time. That is a race killer right there. Nothing you can do about it whatsoever.
Absolutely, you got a feel for Eisen then. He's had him screwed by this extra safety car. But he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Those mediums, he's done 15 laps on those, and yeah, those aren't going to go much further into the race without him struggling too much. So yeah, I think Panda might have this one. He's got 2 medium runners behind him, so his restart's going to be really important here.
Are we alright or what? Leon's on a set of medium, intermediate compound tyres then, so I'm not quite sure if he's on the same track as we are. But it's gone for a set of inters then. 4 tyres being used in this race, and he decides to use the green ones. And judging by the clouds though, in his defence, could rain be coming? Could be very coming shortly.
Yeah, absolutely could rain be coming. What does Leon know? What does the Mercedes mechanics know that we don't?
We don't have any weather telemetry in front of us on the screens where the drivers do, as they can check during qualifying as well. So maybe he knew, maybe the rain's coming. Maybe he may have gone for a masterclass. If the rain hits now and hits hard enough, that's him up into P1 immediately. But the rain's going to come now. If he doesn't, he's going to be screwed big time.
Yeah, even these laps under the safety car that he's going to do on nose into is going to burn them quite a bit. So yeah, if there's rain, it's got to come now.
I do forget that this is a pre-season race as well, so maybe he's just done it for a mess around. Matters, I think, because it's not a serious race, is it? It's a pre-season test race, but maybe he's done that as a mess around. He was on the hard compound tyres. He had every choice to go on the mediums, but if it is serious, maybe the rain is coming. We never know.
Let's see what happens. Maybe he's wanting to use camera bolt tyres on, but maybe he wants to pit back onto another set of tyres, so maybe he goes back into the pits now. He doesn't, he chooses to stay out, so either he's doing this for the jokes or he's expecting rain.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. Eisen has decided to stay out there on those medium compound tyres. Unfortunately, he'll be a sitting duck, as other people, we've got 4 drivers on the inters. Okay, this is very interesting.
That would tell you that rain must be on its way.
Is that why Eisen stayed out there? Maybe.
I'm thinking that, yeah.
If this is going to work for Eisen, he needs the rain to hit about 2-3 laps right now. Yeah, the rain's coming. The rain is here.
Yeah, I can see the rain. I can see the rain.
Wow, this changes the whole trajectory of this race then, and the people running the inters might have done a masterclass. But remember, in this game, it doesn't take. It takes a little bit to soak in. Does the weather? So it's not how happy yet though for those inter runners. They're gonna wait for the track to soak in.
No, but even so, I think Sitchko will be in this lap, and this is going to put Leon into net P1, and by quite a distance as well. He's got he's going to have quite a gap to Baza, who could be net P2. So let's see what happens. I think a lot of these drivers now are still on the dry tyres, going to dive into the pits under the slap.
Well, Eisen there. It's not. This has worked actually quite well now for him, because there's 5 people on the inters. If all these drivers pit, there's 5 people overtaking him, and he'll drop down into P6. So not too bad, but obviously, yeah, I think he would have wanted to pit earlier on.
It has, but if it goes green flag as well, which it will be, he's going to drop quite a few seconds. There's going to be a lot to make up now for Eisen if they do go into the pits.
Well, this could be very, very interesting. Is all these drivers on the dry compound tyres from P1 down to P9, 10 and 11 going to put on a set of inters at the end of this lap? We might see a whole lot of cars diving into the pit lane at the end of this lap then.
Yeah, absolutely. Rain in Texas, would you believe it? Not something I've seen too much on this game.
Oh, I've seen a lot of rain here in Texas, especially Tier 1 last season as well. It was drenched, the circuit was. But are they going to dive into the pit lane? We'll see then. No, it actually stays out there. Maybe it's not wet enough, what it seems, because I've had this scenario, but they've got to be very careful now. Ross is in the pit lane. Fandango gets a 5-second time penalty for speed, for corner cutters actually, not in the pit lane. But here we go then. Who's gained and who's lost then? Looks like, let's keep on board with Leon. Sophia goes down the inside, into turn 1 we go. He goes a bit deep on the brakes, and they make contact, but Sophia then does not go in the spin. Leon there is pressured by Craigo still on those medium compound tyres. Craigo's got better grip than the inters then, so the track may not be ready for inters yet, as Leon's got swamped by there by Craigo, and I was under pressure for Bazza, but Bazza's on the inters too, so maybe it's just Leon's not maybe used to rain or getting to grips with it just yet. We've got that rolling right behind too, so it looks like Leon is struggling so slightly on those intermediate compound tyres, and the guys and the drivers are pulling away ever so slightly then, and you can see Verona Flash there on the back of Jay Hartnose on the old hard compound tyres. Verona Flash actually got hit by Craigo at the back, but not enough to cause any damage it seems, and now go side by side on the straight with Verona Flash to Jay Hartnell with Craigo in the background too. There's going to be a drag race, but Panda is down the inside of Eisen. It's turn number 1 then. Panda on the hard compound tyres, which are fresher. Did somebody just go off in the background? Yeah, Verona Flash.
That was Verona Flash. He really badly outbraked himself. He just went straight on, and could that be due to the weather or not? Because he is on the fresh, soft tyres, so it's unusual to see. It is getting a lot wetter though. You can see a lot of sliding around here.
Yeah, these soft, well, I say soft runners, these dry runners were hoping that the rain doesn't hit hard in about 2 or 3 laps. They can pull a distant gap over P7 and downwards. The highest medium runner, intermediate runner now is Bazza. Interestingly, these guys are still not pitting. Bearing in mind though, Isaac's got to pit either way because he's only used 1 set of tyres not the whole race. So either way, he's got to stop, no matter what tyre it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not saying much, not much change in performance with the inters and the dry tyres. You can see here on board with Bazza, he's not losing too much of the cars in front, so it's a really peculiar situation where you're seeing the inters and the dry tyres with similar performance.
Sofian's in the best place in terms of being on the dry tyres because he's on the soft compound tyres, the most grippiest tyres which can handle these conditions much better than mediums and hards, providing the most grip in these damp conditions then. So Sofian there in the best position so far. He's got a 3-second time penalty which has just happened a few moments ago then, so he needs to get past Panda now, as Panda and Sofian have actually cleared Eisen, and now he's got Lozana Serra and Craigo all over the back of him. We've got Sofian then taking the lead of the race. Up into P1 he goes. Verona Flash has got past Ian Marshall then for P11. He's on the dry compound tyres. Lozana Zera has got past Eisen, and here comes Craigo, might follow through shortly as well. Craigo might get a better exit, but he upshifted a bit too late there it seems. Stayed in second gear on the exit, and now he's side by side with Eisen, then going side by side into turn number 16 we go. Lozana Zera goes a bit deep into the exit of the corner, but he makes it stick and moves up himself into P3. I think Baz is losing a bit of time there towards Jay Hartnell, so the inters may not be ready, it seems, yet.
Yeah, Baz has just had a big slide there, big moment coming through the stadium section, so yeah, it's a tricky one to call. I'm not sure how this is going to develop, but DRS, was that DRS enabled, disabled? What did I say there?
I actually didn't see it, mate, to be honest, because there's loads of people picking up penalties. Craig picked up a penalty for speeding the pit lane, and he's in the pit lane to put on a set of inters. Is it wet enough now? Yeah, I think he might be just a bit wet now.
Yeah, that would have been a DRS disabled message that just flashed across my screen then, so yeah, I think looking at Bazza, let's see how quickly he might catch Jay Hartnell now.
We've got a Haas there almost in the wall, but that was Verona Flash, who had a massive tank slap at the exit turn one. He's on the soft compound tyres, so should have enough grip to withstand these conditions being on the softs, but it looks like the rain is impacting the circuit now to put effect on these soft compound tyres. Bearing in mind though, he's still on the back of the interrunners. Leon is really struggling here. Maybe it's just the wet in general that he struggles, it seems, but we've got Ian Marsh then pulling to the left hand side, about to make an overtake on Mays, then going into turn number 11 we go. Does he get the move stick? Yes, he does then, and Verona Flash also there as well for good measure. Baz is actually losing a lot of time towards Jay Hartnell, so this is quite confusing. DRS is enabled, by the way, because they used it on this straight. So here comes Ian Marshall, here comes Mays, and here comes Verona Flash. He's been swapped on this straight as Leon, overtaken by 3 cars. And now Mays is going side by side with Verona Flash on the soft compound tyres, by the way. So the dry tyres looks like it's working well, depending if you're on the softs or not, which has worked in Sofian's favour absolutely here as well. Bearing in mind though, he still needs to pull a 3-second gap to stay in first place, because he's got a 3-second time penalty to his name. So this is very interesting, Kalen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a weird scenario here, but yeah, 7 laps to go, and yeah, Sofian needs to improve that gap by another second if he wants to keep P1 here.
Yeah, the drive runners have actually made the right call, and looks like some more drivers going to need to. No, Jay Hartnell is actually on a brand new set of softs then, so using those softs now with 7 laps to go to his advantage and maybe overtaking the Inters. Well, if it stays like this, it works beautifully in the Sofian's favours there, absolutely well as well. Eisen, 20 laps on the medium compound tyres. Easy close to Pudge's territory. How long is he going to stick this out for? I'm not quite sure.
I was just thinking the same. That's an insane stint on the medium tyres. If he's not careful, they're going to go bang any moment now.
I think he's forgot that he still has to pit. So hopefully he pits just before he gets disqualified, because you have to use more than one tyre in a dry race, soft, medium, or hard. And Verona Flash then, his next target is that run, and this is like a Nico Hulkenberg situation on the softs versus Inters back in Austria in the sprint race. And interestingly, King Panda is in DRS range of Sofian, so Sofian's lost a little bit of time there, maybe he made a mistake. He should pull away with those soft compound tyres, especially in these conditions here, as Panda will struggle on the hard compound tyres in the damp parts of the track. So King Panda there, as long as he can stay in 3 seconds, he'll win this race. But the favours worked well for King Panda. Unfortunately, Fandango's down to P14. His strategy, unfortunately, him, our pole sitter, was going downhill. I think the best strategy is we'll stay out there the whole time. To the radio.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunate for Fandango how his race has gone. He's shown great pace in qualifying, but yeah, it just seems to not be wet enough. As you can see, Verona Flash here, he's all over the back of Baza and up the inside of the final corner. I think he's going to get that move to stick. He's on the throttle now, bit of wheel spin, and yeah, gets that move for done. So yeah, it's just simply not wet enough for the intermediates yet.
Well, interestingly, Eisen has pitted, and I thought he put a brand new set of softs, but he's gone for a set of Inters, so he feels like the track is wet enough for Inters. And judging by Baz's Verona's pace, he's up into P4 now. He's just gained a whole load of positions thanks to that soft compound tyre on his car. So Eisen there decided not to go for the softs, and looks like the dry tyres at this stage are still better. DRS is still enabled, by the way, indicating that he's dry enough to use, and these dry compound tyres are still in effect, by the way. Jay Hartnell on a brand new set of softs now can find himself gaining a lot of positions. You would have thought the Inters would be better now with the rain impact of the circuit. Now Jay Hartnell's going side by side with Leon on the Inters. He's overtaken him before the corner and gets DRS for good use as well to pull away and stay ahead. Mays versus Craigo, both on the Inters with DRS enabled. I think Eisen should have gone on soft compound tyres there on a brand new set, but he decided not to do that and go on the Inters. Craigo, however, moves himself up into P10 ahead of Mays. But yeah, that is crucial for Sofian now to pull that 3 second gap. He's managed to get that gap to back up to 1.8, 1.7 in that margin. But whatever mistake he had, he can't afford any more of them, because King Panda will definitely capitalise on that and try and claim the victory if he makes more mistakes. Is Sofian.
Yeah,
oh dear!
absolutely.
Oh dear!
Ooh! Oh no! What's happened to Panda?
Oh my goodness! Where has he crashed? Where is that? Final corner. That's a strange place to crash. Did he go in the pit lane? Is that the pit lane? I can't see it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a pit lane. Yeah, you can see the debris on the in the pit entrance in the barriers. So he's obviously had a moment there in a tricky conditions and slammed right into the pit wall.
Wow, this race has turned on its head once again. Verona Flash is in the pit lane to put a brand new set of used mediums, it seems. I thought he would have gone for the soft compound tyre. Maybe he's run out of softs because he's used a lot of softs in this qualifying session and the race as well.
Yes.
But we've got mixture. I think it's wet enough now for sure, Caelan. It's definitely going to be wet now.
It does appear to be wet enough now. The track looks like this, beginning to get some standing water. But wow, what is that? A safety car number 5. So the field's going to bunch up again, and yeah, that's not going to help Sofian with his time penalty at all. There's only going to be, what, 2-3 laps of racing after this, so it's quite a task now to him to bridge that gap.
Well, Verona Flash has got a drive penalty for speeding on a safety car. How many people are doing that, by the way? A lot of people are doing it, just not respecting their delta. But I think it's a good time now for Sofian to pit, because with the help of the safety car, the gap's massive to P3, and he should pit now for sure to go on the Inters, because it's suitable now for the dry compounds to be used, and Lozano Zero as well in P2. So Fandango and Panda are two biggest contenders. The guys who were leading first and second have gone out of this race, and Dat Roland has appeared out of nowhere into P4 then. So a lot of things have happened in this race to just grasp and to take on board with. Sofian started P14, he's up into P1, and bearing in mind that we did pit on the first safety car as well to get rid of those soft compound tyres. Lozano Zero did start P4 up into P2. A lot has changed in this race with the strategies, the safety cars, and here he goes then. Sofian, it's a no-brainer to pit now for these drivers still on the dries, because they'll get swallowed up if they stay on those tyres now, because it's inter territory now, and those guys in the inters will be relieved now that the inters are coming to play, because they've been waiting for that period. So it wasn't time for the inters yet. It looked like a good call at the time because it was raining. It did look wet enough, but not wet enough to impact the dries, it seems.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, those guys have gone on to the intermediate tyres that were at 1 and 2, so yeah, it does look like it's wet enough for that now. Jay Hartnell now is in the pit lane as well, so it looks like he's going on to the intermediates as well.
Yeah, it looked like it looked like a good call. It looks like he has to serve a 5-second penalty. Jay Hart now, then he gets his tyres changed on the inters he goes. It looked like a good call a few moments to go up on the softs, but now it's too wet to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not positioned he wanted to gain, and he's back down in P10. So Verona Flash is still out there by the way, on the medium compound tyres. Remember in Monaco when Kevin Magnussen was out there, heavy rain, and he was on the mediums. It was Kevin Magnussen as well. So Verona Flash needs to get rid of those mediums and put on a set of inters now before the safety car comes in.
Yeah, and just a note as well, that's Verona Flash and Jay Hartnell with both drive-through penalties to serve when a safety car comes in, so that's going to put them at the back of the grid. And yeah, I didn't see what happened to Jay Hartnell with the drive-through. That was obviously spinning under the safety car.
Safety car is caused by King Panda crashing in the pit lane. He thought it was too heavy to continue on those dry compound tyres, and he would have done the undercut as well because it looks very heavy. He would have done the undercut severely if he pitted that lap later, but unfortunately Panda lost it himself in the pit wall he went, and that's his chances of winning now absolutely disappeared. He had to stay within 3 seconds of Sofian there, but unfortunately pushed a bit too hard and found himself a DNF. Unfortunately, it's only pre-season testing, so no points gained or lost. But want to be clearing up those mistakes before we head off into the actual season. Ian Marshall, however, up into P4. What a race he's had as well. Where did he start? Down in P8 as well. Appeared out of nowhere too. So we haven't mentioned him much in the race, but he's up there in P4. Done a stellar job, and a guy ahead of him, 2 guys ahead of him, have got penalties as well, so he could find himself on the podium as well if he keeps it clean and with the track limits, and P3 or P2 is his.
Yeah, absolutely. A good little race for Marshall. He's kept it clean, found his way up the grid, so that's good for him.
My, these timing boards have gone up and down a lot in this race. It's just the different strategies we've had, the safety cars we've had as well. We didn't know what the best strategy was until we saw some dark clouds, because it was actually Leon who was the first man to go on the inters, and we thought he was taking a mick, but actually it started to rain as well. So those guys that went on the inters, it was just a bit too early. They did benefit from the guys, because I thought the guys on the slicks were going to pit straight away after the safety car, but the best strategy actually was to stay out. But unfortunately in Eisen's case, he lost grip anyway because those tyres were just too old, but he's still quick enough to stay ahead of the inters, it seems, as well. So Eisen there down in P7 had to pit, and his lead has now been taken away. It belongs to Sofian. His strategies work best. Get rid of those soft compound tyres, put on a set of mediums. How many tyres has he used in this race? It's soft, medium, soft he's used as well. So he actually used 2 sets of softs in the race, which you don't usually see in racing. Eisen, however, has only pitted once. So is Leon as well, from hards to medium. So as you can see there, 2, 3 stops, 4, 5 stops for Maze and Bazza, and only 1 stop there for King Panda, Eisen and Leon as well. So that's incredible, the amount of stops some people have had.
Yeah, there's been a lot of different strategy calls here, but you know, when the conditions are like this and there's so many safety cars as well, it's strategy almost goes out the window, and it's just a big roll of the dice. You can get lucky, or you make the wrong decision. Safety car comes out and you've been in the next lap. It's or the lap before, it can really destroy your race. So yeah, lots of different tyres.
Yeah, sometimes it's not your fault when the safety car comes at the right time, like you said, especially for Eisen, worst possible timing and place, because the safety car's right there. You can't do another lap to come into the pit lane. The whole field's bunched up, and he would have rejoined. Because some drivers were near the final corner, at the penultimate corner. Oh, that road in there, a bit optimistic on Lozano Serra. That was close to contact. But we've got 3 laps to go then at the end of lap 25 to round off this USA pre-season race. It's a shame it's a pre-season race, because this has been a phenomenal race, as USA as always. If it was actually, if it was an actual race, it pretty much one of the races of the season, don't you think, already?
Yeah, it's been a thriller, absolutely, and yeah, Sifkar's in this lap, and I think that's it. He's gone early, Sifian.
And that's at turn 16 as well, so the guys weren't able to get on the throttle as quickly as they would because they're in a high-speed corner. It's very easy to lose the car, so good thinking there. But Lozano Serra is all over the back of him then, so let's see if the Alpha Tauri might go for a lunge. Yeah, I don't think he has to, but he's a racer, of course, because he's got a 3-second penalty. Has Sophia. Doesn't want to take too many risks, does Lozano Serra. As we make our way now into turn number 1, we've got Mays going up the inside of Verona Flash, who did not pit, by the way. He's on the medium compound tyres, so he was dropped like a stone with Verona Flash as he goes side by side now with the Alpine, but that's a losing battle there. That's Fandango up into P11, by the way. And what a race he's had as well, unfortunately for him, dropping down the order, not the right strategy course for him either. Staying out there in the first safety car probably wasn't the right choice. It was for Eisen, by the way, but I think Fandango's tyres dropped off too much there, whereas Eisen may be able to save the tyres later on for the race, ready for the rain. So Fandango there, maybe the strategy was the good strategy for him, but maybe he just couldn't keep his tyres intact enough. As we've got a few cars going off the track here. That's a Mercedes and a Ferrari. We've got both McLarens close together. We've got Lozano Serra all over the back of Sofian. As we move now into turn number 13, we go. Let's have a look. Oh, the Ferrari sent the Mercedes into a spin. Dear. And both McLarens are still going side by side. Lozano Serra is close towards Sofian, and Bazza wins out of that battle. We've got an audio glitch now, unfortunately, so you might have to withstand that for the time being, with only 2 laps to go in this race. And Crago lost that battle towards his teammate. The Mercedes there outbroke himself and took the Ferrari out with him. And unfortunately, the Ferrari there, an innocent victim in that one. But the Mercedes just outbraked himself, and Marshall's gone for a spin. He's going to drop a lot of positions. Big shame for
Marshall. He's having a good little race there as well, keeping it clean with no penalties, and he's dropped now to P9. But yeah, Lausanne in P2, only 2 laps to go now. He just needs to be sticking on the gear back to Sofian. Doesn't need to take any risks here, and I think P1 is his.
Lots of drivers have got penalties in this race, bar Mays. Mays might gain a lot of positions here. Fandango's got past Eisen, moves himself up into P8 ahead of the Ferrari driver. But Lozano Serra is sticking within that slipstream range of Sophia, keeping on his heels, but obviously he doesn't want to take too many risks because he knows the guy ahead has got penalties as well. Verona Flash has retired in the pit lane, as both has us out, unfortunately, after starting in P1 and in P3. Both ended up one crashing and the other one on the wrong strategy. Leon picks up a 3-second penalty. I think that's another penalty on his name as well. He's in P11, so what a downhill race for him as well, as he was high up there as well early on in this race. Lozano Serra is all over the back of Sophia, and then as he pulls to the left hand side of the track, and he'll claim P1 then ahead of Sophia in turn number 13. This is it. Sophia goes off the track with the lack of downforce he has. He actually gets ahead. In the background, we've got Bazza versus that Roland then, as we continue P1 and P2 going side by side. Lozano Serra actually gets ahead now of Sofian, unless he goes wide through here, and he goes up into P1. However, Bazza versus that Roland has gone deep into that corner and made him a slight mistake. He makes another one too, as Bazza moves up into P3 then in the McLaren. So both McLarens high up there in P3 and P5.
Yeah, that roll only really struggling with the conditions here. He's losing the back end quite a bit there through the triple right-hander. But yeah, Lausanne up into P1 now. Of course, he's a racing driver. He wants to win on track, not through the penalties. So yeah, that's good for him. He's going to want to now gallop on into the distance for the final lap of the race. He needs to keep it clean.
It is the final lap of the race as well, so I didn't even notice that. Those 3 laps very quickly, as that roller has been overtaken by Crago. Crago moves us up into P4, looks like the AlphaTauri of Ross is there, has had a problem or coming together. He's sliding through the corner as well as he tries to get the throttle. But looks like all three of them win a battle at turn 1 because they were so close. And Craigo went out of that one in P4. He goes there. I think Craigo and Ross may have been side by side and probably outbroke themselves, and Craigo was able to get ahead of that road in the process. And that running there under massive pressure now from Ross. They can see him sliding to the corners. Massive oversteer, massive tank slappers there. Keep it nice and clean now. It's the final lap of this race. Mays in P7 will gain some positions due to guys ahead having penalties as well. So keep it nice and clean there, gain a lot of positions. You can see Ross sliding through the corners there, not able to get the power down as he would have wanted. Lozano Zera has pulled a 2.1 second gap over Sevilla Ned, so ever since he overtaken him, has got a good amount of pace to pull away as well. Here comes Fandango then, might go 3 abreast, going down into turn number 12. Oh, both outbroke!
Hits his teammate.
Luckily, it's only the pre-season race. More contact further behind the Alpha Tires than spin.
Oh my goodness me. This is Ross facing the wrong direction. What a crazy final lap this is.
And thankfully it's only a pre-season race as well, because I don't want to be doing that. Both Alpines there coming together. Ives is fighting with Mays. Mays is losing a lot of ground there. But here we are. Lozano Zera wins the pre-season race ahead of Sofia in P2. Basler will come across the line to finish in P3 with Craigo in P4. We've got Mays now. Who's going to finish? Where we finish? We've got the Ferrari going out wide there at the last corner, but Mays finishes in P5. Fandango P6 might drop a few positions due to a 5-second time penalty unserved. And I think that's it. Then we've got Dat Rono coming into P10, Jay Hartnell P11, and Leon in P12. Then so much has gone off in this race, you forget what's happened. But out of all of it though, fair play to Lozano Zera, because he was fighting it quite hard with these guys such as Panda, Verona Flash, Fandango as well, and Eisen. He was amongst those guys at the start of the race. He's been there and kept it clean as well. Chose the right strategy, has Lozano Zera, kept it out trouble as well. So P1 belongs to him. Well, an absolute fantastic job there from the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, it's been a great performance from him, and in tricky, with lots of safety cars, you never know what to do, and yeah, he's done what he's needed to do. And that final lap as well, he's pulled out 2.3 seconds there, I think, on the final lap, so really showing some pace there towards the end of the race.
It was high up there for the majority of the race, but Lozano Zera, he's fighting Eisen for P3 before the safety car started to come out, and kept it nice and clean. Good battles for Lozano Zera as well. It did drop a few positions on those medium compound tyres versus the old hards, but at the end it all paid dividends for him in his race and finished ahead of the Frenchman of Sofiane in P2. With Basler in P3, both McLarens had a strong race, especially Craigo, who went for a spin in the penultimate corner in the first lap. Mays in P5 and P15, Marshall P6 ahead of Fandango. Commiseration starts on pole, but unfortunately, I don't know, it's just that's safety. He didn't pit under the second or third safety car, and the guys with newer tyres able to jump him. Maybe he had damage, not quite sure, because he was using a lot of steering input in those corners more than you usually do, and I think he suffered a lot of understeer as well, so might have picked up some damage. And Ross in P9 with Jay Hartland in P10, Dat Roll in P11, Leon in P12, and the guys behind all DNF'd, which was Batter Hawk, who was the first man to retire.
Yeah, fortunate for him. And as the nature as this track goes, lots of time penalties as well crossing the line. So a mixed grid with those, but and a couple of drive-throughs as well. But I'm sure those guys will iron those mistakes out for round 1 next week.
Exactly. And hello, Harry Palmer. Hello, George Hargreaves, former F3 Tier 3 driver, and a man still looking to win his first race after multiple attempts, and hopefully he can do that. The kind of George Hargreaves. Might want to hear if he didn't speed under the safety car. George Hargreaves last time out in USA when he raced here in Tier 3 in Texas. But yeah, pre-season's over. What an incredible race that was. Loads of tongue twisters as well. Change in scripts as well, and a lot of battles on the track with a lot of penalties as well. So that was an incredible race to watch, and a lot to take in, because every single lap it just changed, didn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. The driver showed some good pace there, and yeah, for the most part, it was very clean.
Yeah, it was indeed as well, especially the wet conditions as well, with different drivers on different tyres, such as slicks and inters, fighting well with each other. So happy to see a few people out breaking themselves, not obviously taking each other out, but breaking is harder in this game as well, especially with the rear lockers. So that's one to consider. With a few people that did outbreak themselves into heavy braking zones such as turn 1 and turn 12. So that's to take a consider. But other than that, it's been clean, and enjoyed that race too. So, and also Kaelin, first time commentating with you. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. So thank you. I can't wait for the next races.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. Looking forward to the season ahead, and yeah, let's get the show on the road.
Exactly, mate. We're back here for tier 4 for the next race. For the first race of the season, I think, is in Austria. So join us back here at 7:30 for tier 4 next week on Monday. And on Thursday, we've got tier 1 coming up with pre-season testing as well, with 2 drivers, teammates, which is Troye and Tony. That's going to be very interesting to watch, with those two teaming up as they're quite close to each other, winning races with each other too. So those two as teammates could be phenomenal to watch. And I'll read in there who is not in this season, who can take the championship away from the Frenchman. Join us back for tier 1 this Thursday.